Hey, how you doing? Whoa, that's a little too loud. Hey, how you doing, everybody? I'm just here to do a quick review. Not a quick one. I think a total breakdown of Moonknight. I just finished watching it maybe a couple of days ago, and I've been having time to reflect on it. Needless to say, everyone's giving a lot of hype behind this show. I don't know how to feel about it. I really don't. So it's kind of hard to break it down. I don't know where to start. So I know a lot of people want to say this show is unique and different. So let's start off with this. When I first initially heard that they're making a Moon Knight series, I had to look it up. The character. It's supposed to be a ripoff of Batman, and it's supposed to be a greedy show, and it's supposed to be Disney Plus first TV MA or MATV or however you want to pronounce a mature show. And especially since they got the rights back to Daredevil, there was a lot of hype behind it. If people know, Daredevil was a Marvel show that was on Netflix. My personal favorite Marvel show. It tied up pretty well. It was like a perfect arc over 3 seasons, and I mean that's literally the pinnacle to me when it comes to Marvel shows. I enjoyed Loki for what it was. Outside of that, there hasn't been too much. Oh, and Hawkeye. I loved Hawkeye. I loved Hawkeye for the small aspect of it, and Loki for this grand mythos behind it. The same thing with Daredevil. Daredevil was a very small character building show, with not much of a crazy depth behind it, but it was just a good build of an origin story. If you want to say that. Moon Knight started off like a jumble mess. Good comparison I had to it was the first episode of Daredevil. It has the infamous hallway scene. Everyone's seen the hallway scene. It's been shown. It's been praised. And it's been talked about over and over again. It's the hallway scene from the first season. And then so I compared it to that. If they want to start big with Moon Knight and trying to prove it to be this extremely violent show, or Disney's attempt to make a violent, gritty show, let's start off by not cutting away from everything. Every time, there is no real memorable moment in the first episode that's supposed to tug you in or pull you into the show. It was flat. There were some interesting aspects, and every time they did something interesting, it cut away. It had this weird cutaway that I wasn't really enjoying. I understood it, so don't get me wrong. I understood what they were going with. For people who don't know who Moon Knight is, Moon Knight is a guy who goes by Mark Spector. He starts off as Stephen Wright. He has multiple personality. He has DID, but he doesn't know about it. And one of his personalities is a superhero named Moon Knight, who is controlled by the gods. And that's how he gets his powers. So the show pretty much is a battle of that. Who's in control of the body? It's kind of like Split, not as violent and not as well acted. No, don't get me wrong. It's not a shot at Oscar Isaac. I'm a big fan of Oscar Isaac. I loved him in Ex Machina, and so it was. He had very little to work with. The build for him was really not. To me, it was very uneven. There's moments where, like, God damn, he's hitting it. He's hitting at every angle. And then there's some moments you can tell that they cut a lot out, or they cut away, or they rush things in and out. And it was frustrating, especially when it got past episode 3, 4, and 5. All right, 3 and 4 especially. Nothing happened in those episodes at all. Nothing happened. They were just going along to get along, and it was irritating as fuck. Hell, I can even argue episode 1, nothing really happened but a build-up. The build-up that really went nowhere, because in episode 2 it was irritating because you just wanted to see Moon Knight do his thing, and he barely did anything. Episode 4 he did something, but it was very, I don't know. To me, I didn't enjoy it too much. It wasn't very. It was kind of off. It wasn't like, to me, it wasn't Moonlight Unleashed, if that makes any sense. You don't get that honestly until the last episode, and that's what was the saving grace for this show for me was the last episode. The last 2 episodes. Episode 5 was Oscar Isaac acting with himself and going all out, and that was superb. Superb acting. Right when things get interesting, episode ends. It's annoying. It's annoying as fuck. Same with episode 6. Episode 6, it started off it dragged up a little bit. I was like, oh, come on, get to the fucking point. And it finally gets to the point, and they introduce a brand new character. I can't remember her name. She played. Pretty much his wife becomes something, and that's interesting in itself. And then again, it was cut short. Every time they show something interesting in the show, they cut away because there's so much to have to touch on. There's so much to touch and filler. It was never intended to be a 6-episode series. That's what I gathered from that. It should have been a 10-episode series or 13-episode series. Cramming all that in 6 episodes, it was irritating. You can tell that they cut a lot of corners. They missed out on a lot of episodes. Right when they finally got some really, really interesting characters, they cut it out. Ethan Hawke is a beast, but he was utilized very little as well. It was, and then it ended on a cliffhanger, which was more irritating. That they ended on a cliffhanger, but there's no season 2. It's stupid. I don't know why they did that. I'm assuming they're going to continue with his character with other movies, but they need to stop doing that. They need to stop, like, the Loki, okay, I get it, but Loki even got season 2 greenlit. Everything else is like, why? Like, I don't understand what they're going with this thing. At least Hawkeye had a solid, well-rounded ending. The arc was complete. There was no reason to keep going, and that was it. That was a good way to pass on the torch to Kate Bishop. This one literally just has no end. It just ends. It just ends right when it gets really interesting. It just ends and is irritating as fuck. And I don't see how they will fill in all the gaps with another movie, or because they're supposed to be doing a Werewolf by Night movie around Halloween, and he's supposed to be in that because, for those who know, Moonknight was debuted in a comic book called Werewolf by Night. It's just, I don't understand how they're going to fill in all the gaps. There's so much missing there. And he's supposed to be also in Blade. My takeaway from this was a show that had good intentions. It had great moments, but it fell flat for me. It was disorganized. Disney obviously did not take a page from the Daredevil people who did the Daredevil series. They try to be gritty, but they don't really have the balls to be gritty. They're trying to play the middle of the sun here, and you have to go all the way if you're going to do these type of shows. Not necessarily meet gory or cuss every time, because Daredevil, I feel like it had a great balance of minor gore, not a lot of cussing, and just great character development. But it also had 13 full episodes. Like 13 full 1-hour episodes. This thing like touched 45 minutes, 40 minutes. It was like, why so short? Like, why so short? The Moonknight episodes were like 45 minutes long. Daredevil was an hour long. Those extra 15 minutes really could have mattered at that point. So, I mean, I'm not a fan of it. I thought Moonknight was not the greatest show ever created, that everyone else is saying. I think it's kind of overrated. It has great moments. The last 2 episodes were like my favorite, especially the last episode, when they finally get things together and they finally got their thing moving, they finally got the joints moving, and then you cut me off. You give me blue balls. That's irritating to me. That's irritating as fuck to me. Because at least in Daredevil, hell, at least in Luke Cage, hell, even in Jessica Jones, there's spits and moments where she does cut loose, but they have reasons why they don't want to cut loose all the time. This is just irritating. This almost kind of reminds me of Iron Fist, how it's just irritating. Well, you know, there's this character who has this full capability, and they cut him down to the wrist for budgeted reasons, for story reasons, hint, hint, wink, whatever you want to call it. They make excuses not to unleash his character, and I feel like it's for budgeted reason that they did it. Just like how in Iron Fist, they didn't do his full potential because they couldn't afford to. And you see how that show ended. It kind of amazes me how that show got shit on, and then this one gets a pass. I don't understand how that works, but whatever. I'm not a fan of it. I love Isaac Isaac. He's a great actor. He did good in this. Same with Ethan Hawke. Same with his wife. His wife was phenomenal in this show. Let me get her name right quick, because she really stole the last episode. Honestly, that's like my favorite part of that moment was the last episode. And God, what's this is gonna kill me here? Hold on, stand by. It's gonna be May Collingway. I'm butchering the shit out of that name. Clamawy. I can't pronounce it, but she is an Egyptian actress who did an amazing job, and I think it's phenomenal that she got what she got at the end. I actually am interested in seeing more of her than of Moonknight, which is weird because the show is called Moonknight, but I'd rather see Leia's character more. But again, intentional or not a fan of it. It's a hit or miss for me. Great moments, still fell flat. I mean, you can hate me all you want, but that's how I feel about it. For those, you go check it out if you think you have a different opinion or you heard something different. Check it out for yourself. I'm just saying I'm not a fan of it, and I probably won't be watching it again. So, with that being said, that's my take. I will have a Doctor Strange review here up shortly. It'll be a full-blown spoiler one too. I didn't spoil too much on Moonknight because honestly, there's not much to spoil in Moonknight. It's such a small character. Doctor Strange is a big thing, so I will do a little longer review on that, and it'll be a full-blown spoiler. So get to that. But thank you guys for checking it out. Drink safe, drink smart, drink responsibly.